it once again.
Hello, it's Jimmy O'Reilly's and we're coming to look at a Vauxhall Zafira diesel. This is the car, Zafira B, and she's saying she's having troubles when she's stopping. The car is shaking and stalling out. So we're going to just put the key in. We're going to start the vehicle up, see if it's got any lights on or anything. Yep, there we go, engine light on. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but the engine is jumping around a bit slightly. I'm just going to plug it in and do some diagnostics on it. So here's what we've got. P2279 intake system leak. Generator lamp. P0621 fan control circuits are the other ones. So this one is going to be related to the alternator, I'd say. Generator lamp control circuit, or maybe the smart charge wire that goes to it. Problem with that. Intake system leak, could be anything. Boost pipe split, or intake manifold leak, something like that. So we're going to have a look. Here we have some brake cleaner. We're just going to spray some of that around where the boost pipes are and intake manifold to see if the engine changes its RPM. If there is a leak and it's sucking some of that in, you'll hear the engine rev up and down slightly. Intake manifold here. And we're just going to let some of that dry off for a minute. We don't want to spray too much in one go. It is flammable liquid. And make sure you've got a fire extinguisher nearby if you're using this method. Now we've got a jack on it and a stand, and we're going to go underneath to where the boost pipes are and do a bit more spraying. We're just lowering it down as we couldn't find anything under there. Just doing an alternator test on it. And the voltage is a little bit low. That seems the generator lamp there might be related to the alternator there. Doesn't seem like it's working 100%. On idle it's a little bit weak, getting 13 volts, 13.1. And the intake system leak, we can't find any leaks anywhere, so it says it's not present at the minute, so it's possibly an old fault. So we're going to clear everything, take it for a drive and see what comes back. So here we are doing a quick erase of all these codes. So now it's on a pass, but we're going to take it for a drive and see how it goes from there. Let's take it for a drive for a minute. And we've got the fault back for the leak system. We're having a look at it, at the car, and what we're thinking is the EGR valve may be blocked and maybe causing the problem, so we might have a look at that. So after about a mile of driving and a few minutes of the engine running, the engine lights come back on and we've got the faults back on there on our machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to do basically a carbon clean on this. We're going to run some fluid through the intake and hopefully clean the EGR valve and the Dpf as well. Intake manifold and everywhere else that the air runs through in the engine. So we're going to put our pedal depressor on here It's a laser 3237 code, and we're just going to put that on our pedal. Now the engine's revving up. We're going to open the intake and spray some fluid in there. Got our Dpf cleaner, and we've just filled it into our sprayable bottle there. And you're going to see loads of smoke like this coming from the back. And we're going to disconnect that, switch the car off, and let it idle for, or let it be switched off for 5 minutes, sorry. And we're going to repeat this process 3 times at least, and that's going to be using around about 2 litres of fluid. So as I said there, we're going to repeat the process 3 times, and we're going to let the car sit for about 5 to 10 minutes each time to let the fluid that we've put in, it's going to sit and soak inside the intake manifold, your turbo, EGR valve, and it's going to break down the soot that's inside. And hopefully this should improve how the car is driving. At the minute the engine's shaking a little bit on idle, lots of power loss, limp mode basically, and we're getting the intake manifold leak detected. That may be because the EGR valve is stuck open and letting the air flow through. And now we're just going to repeat the process again. And get that to reach about 2,500 RPM or 3,000. Now that that's all done, we're going to clear the codes again, get rid of our engine light, take it for another test drive, and see what the difference is. So we're going to clear our codes down here, it raises in. Now that's all gone, and the engine light's out, we can take it for a drive. Already we can notice a massive improvement there in pickup, smoothness and acceleration. And we've done about 4 or 5 miles and all seems well. No faults, no warning lights, big improvement on power and drivability. So I think we're going to make our way back. All seems well. We might have to have a listen back to the front of the video again ourselves, because once we got here the engine sounded very loud and rattly, and at the minute it's nice and quiet, so I'll have to listen on video, see if we have if we can hear the difference on the video, but in person we can see a massive difference in how the engine sounds, and we've got no faults, everything seems fine. Just parking the car back up. Now we can go for a read, see if any faults have returned. And if you look up here, 12 volts on our alternator, that's going to need replacing. And it's got the fan circuits. It's very strange, they weren't coming up on the last menu, but they're here. So the alternator is going to need changing, which would be the next step.